This was the first time I've ever had deleted scenes for a short film of any kind. On previous films, scenes get cut before they're even shot, whether they're written out of the script or just crossed out of the script because we don't have enough time to film or we realize the scene just wasn't needed at all. For Awakening, there were two deleted scenes. The first one being a scene where Michael observes his bruises. This scene wasn't actually in the original script. I filmed these shots the same day I filmed the close-up shot of my chest bruises in the parking lot scene in the film. I spent over an hour putting that makeup on. I used a reference photo of CPR bruises on the internet. Given the amount of time I spent doing the makeup, I figured why not pick up a few extra shots, and decided to make a whole scene for it. So I went to my bathroom, unscrewed a couple of the vanity lights, and put a little LED light, and there you go. And I kind of like this scene. But as I was cutting the film together, it didn't really fit anywhere, and I tried reinstating the scene in different parts of the film, but it didn't really add anything, and it just slowed the pacing down. It was best left on the cutting room floor. The second and final deleted scene of the film actually was in the original script and was fully planned, and it involves Michael searching on the internet to try and find out what actually happened to him and Jason. This scene was actually pretty fun to shoot. We used black contractor trash bags to cover the windows, and it still surprises me how well they worked. And God bless Dylan, it was freezing cold out there. We used this effect later in the scenes with Grace in the kitchen and the living room. This scene was also filmed the same day we filmed the shots of Michael flipping through old family photos shortly after Ashley walked out of the scene. Remind you, this was a separate day when we didn't have Grace. Dylan did some great camera work here. We actually used some furniture sliders, stuck them underneath the tripod, and made a little makeshift dolly. And if the laptop you see in the film looks a bit bulky and beat up, well, that's because it is. This thing is old, and this is actually a laptop that my grandfather bought at a flea market, and spoiler alert, it never worked. But yeah, this thing is big, old, and bulky, but I kept it all these years specifically for using them in film. I figured maybe I'll destroy it for a film. And maybe you'll see that someday. But for this film, I realized, well, this would actually fit the aesthetic and the tone of the film quite well. So, and like I said, the laptop never worked, so in order to get around that, we used a couple of Ilzani RGB lights. And these things are really cool. They have what's called scenes, which are basically little lighting presets and that animate. As you can see, this one is currently set to TV, and if you can tell, it flickers and it dims a little bit. So when you put it like this, it looks like you're actually working on. For the close-ups, I actually just pointed the camera at my monitor and intercut between the two, and you would never know. To be honest, I love this scene, but as I was cutting the film together, something felt off. I couldn't put my finger on it until it dawned on me that the scene didn't make any sense. For one thing, if Michael is being evicted from his apartment, then that must mean he's really short on cash or he's flat broke. So, how can he afford to have Wi Fi? But even if we dismiss that, the most glaring issue is that if he was searching for what happened to him, what happened to Jason, searching Jason's name, then given the outcome of the film, he would have discovered what happened to Jason far too early. But with how the scene plays out, it almost implies that Jason never existed at all. So, unfortunately, this scene had to go. I ended up replacing it with the scene with Michael laying in bed trying to text Jason, only for him to get a failed to send message. Though if I had to do it over again, I might have actually put the scene in the kitchen instead of just in the bedroom, because we actually do spend a lot of time in Michael's bedroom. So, maybe that would have been a better solution. But that does it for this behind the scenes series of Awakening. I can't thank you guys enough for watching. Thank you for supporting the film, and special thanks to Dylan, Brandon, Jake Goldfarb, Grace, Colin Foyle, Peyton Ullman, Susie Briscoe, everybody. I could not have made this film without you guys, and it means the world to me that you were a part of it. But thanks, guys, and I will see you next time. Take care.